Wait, recorded now. All right, welcome back to SSDV. This is the best of the best, the big, the buff, the black, aka one nut in the sack. Call me daddy. All right, I'm gonna pass the mic on to whoever wants to hop on.
Why me? Yo, this is TJ, aka Light Skin Barry White. Let's keep it tight, alright? I'm gonna pass the mic.
Alright, so we also have Clint rejoining us again, so this is gonna be a good time as usual.
Yeah, Clint, one finger in the splint. Give you a hint. My flow poisonous like some tap water out of Flint. You know how it be. Let's get it popping.
Got him! You got the bars for days. And then of course, we actually have another guest coming on tonight, and this is Jimmy.
Hey guys, Jimmy. I'm not nearly as creative as everyone else here, but we're gonna have a good time.
Don't let him bullshit you like that. Fuck it. I'll let y'all decide for yourselves. Anywho, I just wanted to start this off by asking y'all a quick question, right? Y'all notice how bad current dudes is nowadays? Such as how niggas nowadays is more bitch than bitch.
Simp City!
Niggas nowadays are more bitch than bitch. Like, I would not understand how dudes get way too emotional over the littlest things.
Yeah, well, no, duh. Well, I mean, it is, we can't teach men to be men anymore. That's one thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the most manly man, but I will say, I can change a tire, I can jump a car, and I can get a few things like that taken care of. I would willing to bet that there's probably a lot of people my age that couldn't do that.
A lot of people your age that couldn't change a tire or jump a car.
Yes.
I've actually seen that in practice.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
That's embarrassing, for sure.
It definitely is. But I'm just trying to figure out, though, with everything that we have in today's society, like, you literally have the universe in the palm of your hands. How can you not be a man? How can you lack the basic skills of a man?
Well, I mean, when you can do... I mean, I used to be a poster boy of this type of man, actually, where I would play video games all day, and I wouldn't do anything.
Hey,
all
don't hurt my
day.
feelings.
When I say all day, I mean all day.
Hey,
Okay?
hey, don't talk about my past like that.
It's my past, too. I'll talk about however the hell I want. And I literally didn't contribute anything anywhere. And I didn't feel the need to. I was happy in my own little bubble, and I didn't. What the problem is I think a lot of men, there's not that demand that there used to be for a man to be a man, and you can just skate by. I skated by. No one ever was like, you need to grow up because of this extended adolescence we have. And I would make the argument that this extended adolescence hurts men way more than it does women, because men should be forced to grow up a little bit sooner, if you ask me.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is you shouldn't be, I know people who are 35 years old, living with their folks, and it happens on occasion, but with no plan on moving forward. That's not like, oh gosh, something bad happened to me, and my parents are taking me in, because the parents should take them in, right? But this is where I'm going to be, and I'm happy with it. And in those situations, that is often very much correlated to no job.
Yeah, typically they have no job. It's Lord knows, 3 of us here have a guy that we know that's
That fits that example.
that fits that example to the fucking T.
Can he change a tire?
No.
No.
Well, then look at that. I'm 2 for 2.
Can't change a tire, doesn't have a job, relies on his parents, does not have a plan for the future. Talks really big, but won't do shit.
Constantly spouts a plan when people corner him on having a plan.
But the plan always doesn't
plan?
make any... there is no plan.
It's more like ramblings of, I'm going to be this if only this happens.
Something's holding him back, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, no one's holding him back but himself. And
Sure.
it's just one of those things where, like, it'd be one of those things like, I know... What the fuck was it? Fucking marine biology. It's like, dude, what the fuck did that come from? Like, did you just make that shit up?
And then
like, I know marine biology is a real thing, but like, you don't have the background for it.
But you gotta go to school.
You don't have the grades. You don't like school. I mean, I think...
Sounds a little fishy.
I think that's... yeah, exactly.
Stop.
Yeah, I think that's a good jumping off point to go back to the caliber of people, because in this society, it's getting more and more acceptable for people to live, like you said, that kind of life, be going on 35 and have no driver's license, have, no ambition, just regurgitate stuff that they happen to read on the internet one night on that's what I want to do, without any plans of actually how they're going to get there. I mean,
If they get that far.
Unfortunately, not everyone gets their dream job, and I mean that should be your goal to work towards, regardless of what your current job is. But
Hey,
you gotta be doing something to move
something that's
forward.
funny? My dream job used to be a porn star, and then I found out I had to fuck a man for it, and I was like, I'm good.
All right, I don't know what teenage boy's dream wasn't that at
Yeah,
one point in time. Like
I mean,
that.
even if you don't get your dream job, like I certainly don't have my dream job, but I'm in a place where I can progress, where I can take care of my family, like where I feel like I can move forward. And the reason why I like this topic so much is because I consider myself a, what would you call it? I'm a former failed man. You might say I was reborn. I don't know the word you would use.
I can't even say that.
I am, what's the word? I went to
You
man
metamorphosized.
rehab.
You
right?
metamorphosized.
I went to man rehab. And you know what that was?
No.
Was that, I had to have something to lose. And it wasn't until I found the woman that is my wife that I realized that I needed to really turn things around. And I'll be honest with you, she probably shouldn't even give me a shot when we first started dating. I was not worth her time. But I realized that if I wanted to be have a happy life, regardless of her in my life at all, I needed to change.
So I want to let y'all know something real quick, right? I don't give compliments out there like that, but this man's wife is pretty damn smoking.
Oh, god damn. Yeah, I lucked out like some shit, and I don't ever let her forget that any day of the week. But the point is that men definitely, it's I don't want to say it's a crime, right? But it's certainly looked down upon to be masculine. When I play games, like when I play games, whether they be sports or whether they be just like fun little games, like board games and shit, I talk shit. I like to get in people's faces and be like, I'm good at this and you're terrible. How does it feel to be terrible? Men need that competition. That's
Yes.
what bred me to be better when I was younger, when I was in sports, was I wasn't going to do my best unless someone was chiding me, telling me I sucked.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And when you take competition away from men, they just learn to live with where they're at. I mean, because we've all had those days, right? Where no one's on your ass. There's a certain type of person that'll get up on their own, right?
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't one of them, though.
Yeah.
I needed that. You probably can't do it. To be
You
able to do it.
need your haters and your doubters out there.
Sure.
If you
Bullies provide a valuable service.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
that's what
Certain-
Hot
that's
take
exactly
spoken
what I
here
would-
first.
No,
That's
you are
exactly
right.
what I wanted to
You
get
are
to too, though,
100%.
was the fact that I think that a lot of dudes nowadays is more bitching than bitch because they're being way too fucking cuddled. Two, it's frowned upon to spank your motherfucking child.
Oh shit!
And Lord knows,
Shit!
man, when I was younger and I fucked up, get your ass outside and pick your switch.
Let's jump in on that. I think that's where it definitely starts. Yeah, the shit I see with parenting nowadays, where all anyone gets is a stiff no as they continue to do whatever the fuck they want. And I'm having PTSD moments just imagining if I tried to do that shit. I was in Subway one time. Family was in there with their two kids, letting them run amok. They had a shopping cart from a grocery store that was at the other end of the shopping center. I don't know how it didn't lock up or whatever the fuck those things do. They had this shit in the Subway because their kids didn't want to get out of the shopping cart to stop playing with it.
Unreal.
And this is after like a full day of work. I'm in this Subway trying to get dinner to go the fuck home. So they're in there playing on the shopping cart. One's like pushing the other, they're crawling all over it. Parents are just ignoring any of this shit. And I'm trying to figure out how they even got the shopping cart like down there, how Subway's allowing this, whatever. And now like the one kid's like pushing the shit and it's like banging into the chips and knocking shit off. And then even worse so, it started bumping to fucking other customers. And I'm waiting for the parents to notice, because I'm like, maybe they're just too distracted on their phones. They're not noticing. As soon as they notice this is going on, something's going to happen.
No, what he's saying is he's waiting for the kid to bump into him, so he just go baka baka baka.
I was going to punch the dad. It's not the kid's fault at that point. It's the dad's responsibility to do that to the kid, not mine, because that's not the kid's fault. He might not know better, but it's the parent. And I'm sitting there, and I actually text my mom while I'm standing there and was like, thank you for beating my ass as a kid. Because, like, I don't know what's happening here. They're just like, no, don't do that, as they're just knocking shit up and picking up the shit that the... If I made a scene in public like that, I wasn't getting no food. I wasn't going to have anything enjoyable when I get home, and my mom's hand was going to hurt for a fucking week.
Feel that.
And I probably was going to get yelled at when a stone popped out one of her rings, because she wasn't going to take that shit off when she was backhanded me.
Look what you made me do. Look what happened, my ring. This is your fault. Come here.
Exactly. I have been yelled at because my ass broke the wooden spoon I was being beat with at one point in time. And you know what? I don't consider that child abuse. I'm not saying pin your child down in like a full chest mount UFC style and beat the shit out of him. But I'm saying a good smackdown every once in a while when that kid's acting like an asshole will help propel them forward, so they know the world is not all peaches and cream and they need to do the best. They need to respect other people so they don't get their ass beat, that there's a consequence for your actions.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right on that with the consequence thing. I'll tell you, my parents didn't hit me, but I don't know how they did it. But they get some like CIA mind trick on me as a kid.
That was involved too, but yes, I know what
Because
yes.
I remember my mother would tell me, I remember being like 5 or 6, and my mom would be like, "This, if you ever did something like this," like she pointed at another kid, she'd be like, "You're gonna make mommy cry." And I was like, "Oh my God, I don't
Holy
believe that."
shit.
And they learned to guilt me. Really.
It's that, are you mad?
Yes.
I'm just disappointed.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And I
One of
learned to
those.
act right with that shit. I mean, I was never hit, but goddamn, everything I owned was out of my room. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
There were consequences, right? And I don't think that is enough, because you know what? When you don't have consequences when you're a kid, you can be 35.
And
You live there.
I feel like it's like steps, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like if you have enough of what you're talking about, the kid won't get bad enough to where you have that ass beating
Yeah, exactly.
all the time. There might be 1 or 2 slip ups. Like I'm not trying to say I got my ass beat all the time.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to say, I don't think anyone got the ass beat all the time unless.
But
I
Really?
was going to wanted to chime in on that one. As a hello, this is Kat from the back who can put it down like that.
Everyone can do that
sometimes.
except for me.
oh shit! Oh shit!
I was thinking about that this whole time. As a previous ass beaten child, to the point where my mom carried a belt in the truck at all times, just in case she got a phone call to show up. True story. She showed up 3 times at that Catholic school. They're like, "Are you sure you should be doing this to your child? Mind your business. Mind your business." There's a point in time where ass beating gets too far.
Yeah.
She's like, "Okay, so what can I do to the next step that makes you understand?" Because I was a badass child. Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Badass kid number 1. So she's like, "Okay, what can I take away now that makes you feel the effects of what you did?" So I came home. There was no lock on my door. She broke the lock on my door. Like that's a privilege. TV was gone. All my VCR, my cassette collection gone. Stereo
Nickelodeon VHS tape, something like that.
gone. She at one point she sold half my stuffed animals. She's like, "Yeah, I gave it to kids who actually needed this." I was like, as a 7-year-old
King
little
me.
girl
You learned your lesson, though, right?
with my Care Bears. She like the kid down the street looked like they needed them more.
Yeah.
That was
They were don't care bears.
That was a moment. And your Subway story. See, if that was me, I've learned from working in childcare so much. Sometimes I don't gotta get involved, but if you can master the stare death, you just look. I did it to a kid yesterday. It made me feel so proud inside. She was about to eat something off the shelf, and I just looked at her like, "Nigga, I wish you would in front of me. I don't care what your mom sees." But no, she turned around and walked backward like, "You don't see me. I'm not here."
I think the largest thing here is that there needs to be an establishment of consequences for your action, regardless if it's I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not saying beat the shit out of your kid like you're a UFC fighter, but spankings, you know, a little bit here and there. Obviously, try and find another route first, but if that doesn't work, sometimes that's how it has to be. But the point being, whether it's a death stare or whatever you want to talk about, they need to know that there's some kind of consequence, and it's not just sitting there being accepted.
Yeah.
Because that breeds back to decreasing that person's understanding of society. That's the person that's going to grow up and think they can treat anyone any type of way.
Oh yeah, and that's the type of person that's gonna get their ass beat the shit out.
And they're going to get away with it for a long time because there's so many. I'm saying there's so many people that are in society that don't want the problem of what basically being a parent to this person brings.
A lot of people want parents. They don't want. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as an adult to another adult, you know, you can't just smack the shit out of them without consequences to yourself, even though they're acting rude as fuck to you. I'm not. There is a whole nother level to that.
I was sprayed for my life.
But what I'm just saying is that they're out in the world with no vision of consequence. Most people don't want to involve themselves and screw up their life that they've worked so hard to put themselves in a position to take consequence for giving out a knowledge knot to this person who doesn't fear consequence. And like you said, though, they'll get that one wrong person who won't put up with that shit, and they'll get the ass beating of a lifetime that their parent never gave them. So, I mean, I feel like lack of consequences, maybe not even lack of ass beatings, lack of consequences is what is pushing children toward being a lesser caliber of person today.
You're not wrong about
Well,
that.
I would also argue that this idea that everyone is special. That bums me out because, you know, that was actually the reason why I thought The Incredibles was such a good movie. Because remember what he said? He said, if everyone's special, that means nobody is. And the fact is that I'm never going to be on a basketball court in the NBA, nor should I be. I don't deserve it. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Not even close.
Man, I'm putting this right here, right? If I saw you in the Olympics, bro, I would love to watch you play basketball in the
Right?
Olympics.
Ha ha ha. Yes, it'd be funny as fuck. But I have no business being there. And the problem that I have is I feel like people being told that they can do anything. Now, people should be able to believe that they can, you know, achieve the highest goals they can. But I think there has to be a certain amount of realism, because when there are no consequences growing up and you can just feel free to daydream all you want, the gentleman you were talking to me about who just spouts all those plans, well, that's what happens when there's no consequences, right? You can just say whatever the hell you want, and tomorrow will come. It could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. You know, but
Yeah, it's one of those things. I always push it back. But no, though, his story actually reminded me of a story of my own. I used to work at Toys R Us back when that was a thing. Before, you know, they went bankrupt and, you know, blew the fuck.
Toys R Nobodies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will never forget this day. There's a couple of days I won't forget. The day where I kicked some guy out, that was pretty fun. But this day right here was, in particular, a kid was with his mother. Mother told him, no, I can't get you that toy, so on and so forth, right? The mother is either she's really, really fucking fat and disgusting, or she's pregnant. And I'm guessing she's pregnant, right? Because, you know, there's a certain way your body looks when you're fat. Yeah. But anyway, this kid gets so upset with his mom and starts punching his mom right in the gut. Yeah, bitch, buy it from me, bitch. Like, every single time you hit her, just calling her a bitch. And I'm just sitting there looking like, you gonna handle that? Because ain't no way in hell I'm getting away with some shit like that. Especially if my mom was pregnant.
You start having a PTSD moment where you're starting to see what would happen to you if you did that shit, and you're just like, God.
I would put it to you like this right here, right? I may be big, buff, and black, but I swear to God, if I got hit like that, whew, I'd be white. Let's go with that.
Well, the fact is I just can't. Well, I hate to say this because I feel bad for the lady, but what kind of parenting has to be there first for the kid to be able to do that? Like, how do we even get to that situation?
There is no parenting.
But there we go. But so we've talked about consequences as it relates to men.
Well, no, actually, there is consequences that do relate to men.
No,
and that is the fact that men nowadays are unable to get women. So we got people like TJ here who be simping on these Instagram models, and he
Simp.
he out here.
Wait, you don't simp.
No,
ain't
he
seen
pays for
I don't.
OnlyFans.
I
He
do
pays for
not.
No, you
OnlyFans.
don't.
Nah.
No, you
Yes,
don't.
you
I do
do.
not.
I seen it.
No,
I seen it.
I will never.
So you ain't never buy that Belle Delphine bathwater?
Bruh, porn is free. Porn is free. Why would I pay?
Okay, good.
Bruh, whose bathwater was that in that jar then?
Ew, what the fuck?
I think he's. I think you're.
Shit ain't vibe, bro.
That shit said Belle Delphine with a label on it, and you was sniffing like.
That's what you did. Hell no, I didn't do that shit.
Well, I mean, the fact is I agree that men are stuck in a state of extended adolescence, and that's certainly hurting their prospects with women. But I think women have a part to play in this as well.
Oh yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so I can only speak from this, from my perspective and from what I've seen growing up and whatnot. And what I've seen growing up is a lot of single mothers trying to raise a man. And I said this beforehand. I'm going to say it again. Women cannot raise men. Women cannot tell men how to be a man. Women don't know what they want from a man. Women come out their mouth with all these stipulations and what they think that a man should be and what they think they want in a man. But when a man that fits every little thing that they want and say, the first thing that comes out of a woman's mouth, at least this is, like I said, my experience from what I've seen, ew, you a fucking faggot. It's the first thing they fucking say. And it's just like, huh. So you claim that you want this super nice guy that listens to you and do everything you want them to do, everything you want them to do. You claim you want this, that, and the third, but that's just not how that goes, right? So with that being that, like I said, with a lot of the single mothers, single women raising the men don't have a single idea on how to be a man. So, and this is where I go back to earlier, where I was like, it's kind of wild how you literally have a universe in the palm of your hands, and yet you still can lack that.
Sure.
I mean, as of late, I've been running into things where, people are actually out there trying to, to correct the behavior. Because despite the flaws of many women, which we're going to be getting into here shortly, I think that a lot of flaws of the women can be corrected if we have the men actually step up properly.
Sure, I agree with that, but it's a cycle that needs to be broken by somebody. Either a woman needs to choose the right man to be with who stays, or the son who was raised
Hey, you already do
without a man needs
your
to
payment
find. It's the chicken or the egg, right? What comes first, right?
Yeah,
Either women who are suffering from this problem need to learn to pick the right man that stays and helps raise the son, or the son who grew up without a father needs to find a good father figure and learn.
Hell
so
yeah.
he breaks the cycle. It's got to be broken somewhere, and it's tough to kind of put it on the child,
Yeah.
because they were born into something. What do you say? Like, let's look at it like a basketball team, right? I would say when it comes to sex, women are in control. You know what I mean? Like, women are the gatekeepers.
So
of
here's
sex.
what it is right here. Women control access to sex, men control access to relationships.
Right. But here's the thing. If a woman keeps choosing the wrong man over and over and over again, kind of like a basketball team, right? They keep drafting the wrong players over and over and over again. The players are bad. We know they're bad players. So is it the player's fault when they play badly? Right?
Yes,
or do
it
we
is.
need to draft better players?
Nah, it's the player's fault. They need to stop being bad.
Well, I would argue that a lot of the times, I would make the argument, a lot of the times, bad players that do certain bad things can't stop being bad.
Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna bullshit you with that. Like, it is what it is, because when it comes down to the come down, if you keep trying it, it's not working. You see that whatever you have going on for you isn't getting your results. Either you say fuck it, I'm never gonna try it again, or fuck this shit, toss this out, get a new one.
Yes. And I mean,
This nigga right here, yo.
That's a thing.
well, I agree. I mean, I think one of the big things that have changed in society as of lately was, for a long time, women didn't have the rights that they should have had. I think we can all agree with that. But with the rights that women were given, I don't believe the responsibilities were added to it.
No, there is no.
So they were given a bunch of rights that they should have had from the beginning, we all agree, but none of the responsibilities of conducting yourself and making the right choices with these newly given rights was ever instilled. So it was suddenly the whole world's open and there is zero consequences. And the consequences that you can have, you can blame on men.
That's my favorite shit, though. So, you know, with that being that, would you say that that's one of the reasons on why, you know, for some reason or another, I know that you're here, so maybe you can shine a little bit of light as well, but for some reason or another, women cannot hold themselves accountable worth shit.
You go first.
I would go first. First, I was like, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by women can't hold themselves accountable worth shit? All right, we'll take the relationship, for example, right? Like we said, women control access to sex, right? I say, unless the man is going to sit there and fucking rape you, which is highly illegal, and they're not getting the pussy, right? But it's one of those things where I know one too many women. I work with a few women that have multiple kids by multiple dudes, and it's just one of those things where it's always the dude's fault. And hell, like, because of the fact that I grew up around a whole bunch of ain't shit women, that's a whole nother story. I got to see this shit firsthand where, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna tell you like this right here, right? One of my cousins fucked one of her niece's boyfriends, got pregnant by her niece's boyfriend, just so she can have the baby, just so she can say, I did that shit. Didn't even marry the dude or whatever. And it's one of those things that's like, well, it's not my fault it happened. How? There's no accountability taken for that shit whatsoever. You knew that was your niece's fucking boyfriend, and you went out of your way to fuck him.
I can't follow.
Now that's definitely
I can't follow that.
well, that's definitely a large outlier, I would say. But the general idea that I think a lot of things that have happened is women today have a lot of pride, and I don't think that is necessarily a good quality for women in large amounts, because I want a woman that is willing to, and I have one who is willing to, when we actually talk about it, admit when there's something wrong and we can talk it through. I prefer that to somebody who's going to bite me tooth and nail on everything just to save their pride.
See, no, I'm okay with a woman with pride. In fact, I like women
No,
with pride.
women should have respect.
No, I
Pride
like
and
that
respect
as
are two
well.
different things.
No. They can go hand in hand. There is such thing as being too prideful
That's what I'm
and
saying.
whatnot.
You don't think
and
women
there's
today are
such
too
thing.
prideful?
I feel like it goes both ways. It can go both ways on that one.
Go ahead.
Like, I got a loud voice. They can hear me. I feel like that goes both ways. Because, like, for instance, like,
it
I
goes
got the
bisexual.
exact opposite. I'm going to put my daddy into this.
Yeah,
He went out with multiple women during multiple marriages, had multiple babies.
that's just what men do.
No,
That is
just what-
no.
And I confronted him. I'm like, I confronted him. Like, I've seen you go through 3 marriages. What's up? He's like, oh, well, this one wouldn't do this. This one wouldn't do that. This one. I'm like, but you're the broke one on the side crying.
Wait. So he was making excuses rather
He
than
was
taking.
making.
Okay, never mind.
He's
That's
like, well,
not
she
what
wouldn't
they
get
do.
degrees, so I didn't want to be with her. And I'm like, but you had 2 kids and lived with her for 15 years, but all of a sudden.
So all of a sudden, because there's no degree,
I'm like, you
want
don't
it.
got a degree either. And then he's divorcing his wife right now. He's like, well, I can't take it somewhere. I'm like, she's the one you slept with during all at once. She don't trust you because you slept with other women and married other women while she was the side hoe. You made the hoe into a housewife. What'd you expect? That all of a sudden when you're married, she ain't gonna think you gonna get trust? I'm like, y'all been going back and forth for 30 years.
Jesus.
And you think something's
That's
gonna
in depth.
change just because you put a finger on it.
Put a finger in it.
Finger in it.
That might change something.
And I'm like, something is wrong if you get married and you don't tell your children to your first anniversary.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You know something is wrong.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your take on this, Glenn?
I mean,
Clint loves unaccountable women.
No, man. I'm just soaking this in. I'm still stuck on the whole thing, man. Like, you put me on the spot. I hadn't even prepared my
No, it's
opinion
okay.
on
I'm
this yet. No, I'm just
Was it the accountability thing that you're talking about with women as well?
Oh, you're
Just-
talking about the I'm gonna fuck my niece's her boyfriend.
I'm just the whole thing, man. I would shit.
All right. So while you figure
There was so many back-to-back wild stories there. I'm still processing from from the cousin having the niece's
Yeah, Jesus
boyfriend's
Christ.
baby.
But no one was
and
related
then,
in that scenario,
Then we
right?
have,
Huh?
then
No
we,
one- Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, then we have the man who's 3 wives through, and on to one that now who's been with him through all of those he feels like she should trust him when she knew what he was doing during the other marriages. So why would he not do it to her?
Yeah, but
That makes
That's true. If they're going to do it on you, they'll do it to you.
exactly. Which I mean, and then
There's a
you
joke in there somewhere.
and then you decide to marry him too and not give him trust. So, I mean, it falls both ways there. I mean, that's something that, if you knew and you weren't going to give him full trust because you know what he does to married women, why are you moving forward with marrying him and then being mad when you're not having the trust?
You don't question these things.
And at the same time, how is he thinking that he's going to find someone who fits his standard that seems to be, from what I'm understanding, an ever-changing bracket of things that he's not even holding himself to, and he's expecting to find this in someone who was the side piece and accepted being the side piece through all the other ones. That sounds like a lack of accountability and a thoughtful approach on both
It
sides.
just sounds like that's just fucking wild to begin.
That's why I was kind of so lost for a second, trying to process all the levels that you have to go through as a person on both sides of that. That situation, I wouldn't necessarily point a finger and say blame on the man or the woman being the cause or the person of lesser caliber. That's
See?
that's both. I mean, maybe it plays into the thing of that both sides, like you said, both sides are falling in today's society.
Oh, that was Jimmy that said that.
I think it was entitlement, if you ask me, right? Can you imagine the entitlement to do all that shit to somebody and then think, and when they ask you to conform a little bit, you just are like, nah.
Dog. Actually,
Hot take.
I got something for you though. Got a quick question for y'all. Is it just me, or do you guys think that the current day women are a little bit too? Nigga, are you okay? This nigga right here is
Sit up.
dying.
Dude, sit up, bro.
You okay, man? You a little red.
Nigga, he all quiet. He was like, if I just stay quiet, they
almost-
won't notice me when I put my head
He almost-
in this plate of pizza.
Yeah, almost face planted into his food. What were you going to say?
Both. I think women put themselves a little bit too high up on a pedestal,
Oh, yes.
and with good reason too. Unfortunately, with good reason.
What's the good reason?
With good reason being, as we go back to what we spoke about earlier, the caliber of man being a lot weaker than what it once was, to the point where people like TJ are buying bathwater from Belle Delphine.
Come on, man. You're gonna have to jump in at some point if you want me to stop saying that shit.
He's buying bathwater from Belle Delphine. He's over here.
Where else do you get your bath water?
Good point. He also buys like foot pictures and shit like that, like from all these women that he's never gonna meet, and so on and so forth.
Plot
Like,
twist. It was the.
I can't deny
Bruh, I don't even like feet.
It was, plot twist. It was the.
You defend yourself on the
If
feet,
that's
but not
what
the
it
bathroom.
really
Yeah.
yeah, no,
That's it.
No,
yeah, he likes to let that bathwater sit, huh?
no, I don't want nobody down.
Like I said, man, the plot twist is that was
I
the
don't even want
Wish.com
springboard
version,
anymore.
and that was Yancey's bathwater the whole time.
No,
You know,
hurt.
switcheroo.
The old switcheroo.
I'm hurt. No,
But yeah, though, so we get people out there that actually do simp, and OnlyFans is a thing. And
OnlyFans
wow.
is the fall of Western society.
No, so see, OnlyFans is a thing, right? So you get these average looking and below average looking bitches out here thinking that they fucking top tier.
Semi-prostitutes, yes.
Yeah, they think they're fucking top tier, and it's just like, no, bitch, you're not top tier. You just, unfortunately, there's a lot of dudes out there that have absolutely zero confidence in themselves that just sit there and I want to shoot you $50 to $100 just so I can get a picture of your butthole. It's like, man, if I really want to do that, like last week we were talking about fucking Lilith. Anyway, neither here nor there. There's this girl who could have played fucking Gwen, not Gwen, but
Triss.
Could have played
Triss.
Could have played
Yeah.
Trish, and she had like an asshole. She had a tattoo on her pussy. And anyway, we digress.
I hope she had an asshole, man. Like,
Just without asshole, sans asshole.
if she was born with no asshole,
But anyway.
like it's just coming out somewhere else, and that's gonna ruin the whole thing,
Yeah.
man.
I would say to agree with you. It's like they're not, was it top tier, but they're readily accessible.
Yeah,
Readily accessible.
readily accepted. It's like this right here, right? Everyone knows that 7-Eleven food will fuck your shit all the way up, and yet 7-Eleven still sells an ass ton of food, especially that nasty ass pizza that somehow, some way people go out there to eat, or that fucking bone-in fucking hot dog they got going on.
Got the bone in hot dog.
Here's the thing. Here's the way it happened. I used to be. I'm a married man. Before that, I certainly ran around and had sowed my own wild oats, right? But here's the thing.
You know, in other words, you were showing them that Ashland tree.
Oh yeah, definitely. But here's the situation. Back in the day, when feminism was coming to its own,
Ew.
men were acting like pigs. And instead of society saying, let's hold men to a better standard, instead they just said, women can act like pigs too. And that's what happened. That's why that's what OnlyFans is.
But no, so
You can't tell me that if someone wouldn't pay to look at your schlong, you wouldn't throw it out there.
hell no, I got a baby dick. My shit is I have a wee.
What if someone had a baby dick fetish?
Hell no. There may be people. Listen.
There is-
I don't have a micro penis now. God damn it.
It's a baby dick.
I have
not
a wee
micro
wee.
penis.
I have a wee wee, not a micro penis. All right, my wee wee works. Damn it.
But I mean, the point is
But-
I think women have adopted a more masculine view.
And that's actually where I was about to go from there.
Which
Was
isn't a
the
good
fact of the matter is that they put themselves on this pedestal because, like I said, you got all these people out here that fucking flock to them over this dumb shit, right? And then you got your educated ones that feel as if they're too good for the average man, and it's just one of those things like. You may be educated, but just because you have your PhD or degree and so on and so forth, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're better than the college dropout. Because when you sit and think about it, majority of the people that actually go out there to make the millions and everything else like that, they're college dropouts. I mean, sure, they go back into school and everything else like that afterwards, but
Sure.
they're pretty much college dropouts.
But women don't date down in education.
But that's the thing.
Statistically, they just don't do
But that's the thing about it, though, right? How would you consider that to be dating down? Just because you have yourself a degree, so on and so forth, that does not
Because
make
they
you.
want a man that is. It doesn't matter. Women can make $1 million. They still generally would like a man that they think can provide for them.
Yeah, I know. See, like that makes sense. But what I'm saying is this right here. When you sit here and you look at the man that did not go to school and has made over $100,000 versus the woman that went to school making $60,000, $70,000, but she won't mess with the guy that did not go to school because he didn't go to school. And the thing is that gets me is that man that makes $100,000 that did not go to school has no debt.
No, I
The
agree.
woman that went
You're
to
looking at it
school-
logically, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, why are you able to put yourself on this type of pedestal? Like, what makes it? What in your head has you thinking that okay, because I have this degree, so you are beneath me, you are beneath me, you are beneath me. But although you are beneath me, I'm willing to have a baby by you. But when it comes down to marriage, I want to have a man that does this, 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 and this, and this. But I can have a baby by you though.
That's hypergamy. That's women who will always strive for the best to, it's a woman will be with this man for now, but when this man who's better comes along, they'll jump to that. I mean, it's not as common, but here's the point. It's a vicious cycle. The fact is a woman who spends her youthful childbearing years going to school and getting that PhD and then coming out of it at 30 goes, I want a man now. She meets the man who she would like, but guess what? That man is going to go after the 22-year-old
You're damn straight.
that didn't do all that. It's just, you can't have it all. If you are going to spend your young years doing that, the odds are, is when you get done, you are going to have a smaller crop of men that are going to want you. It's not fair, but it is the way it is.
I'm about to say it's not fair, but like you said, it is the way it is. Such as this right here, right? A lot of people don't understand this, but as men get older,
The sexual market value. Sexual
their pool
market
gets bigger.
Yep.
As women get older, it gets smaller.
Women
Well-
start at the top at 18, men start at the bottom at 18, and then I'd say at about 28, 29, they cross
I'm
And
gonna
then it's-
I'm gonna give it a little bit higher than that. I'm gonna say about like
Maybe
34,
34. Okay, I'll
34,
give you
35.
34. I'll
I
give
get
you
around
34.
that time because believe it or not, men don't start coming into their money until about 35.
True, but I was counting on women's looks dropping out.
Oh yeah, they'll drop probably around that time too. Like so long as they don't age like fucking milk,
True.
you're good to go.
But still, though, I mean, if you were let's say you made $100,000, right, and you had your pick of the crop, would you pick the 30-year-old or would you pick the 22-year-old?
Both.
How bad is the 30-year-old? Is what I
Both.
want to know.
Let's say they're both equally bad,
Both of them.
and you had to choose one.
Both of them.
Oh shit.
Both.
Both are equal. What I'm going to say is both are equally faithful. Both are equally pretty. Both are equal, except it's 30 and 22. What are you choosing?
Both.
And they're both equally like driven personality wise.
Both of them.
Okay, shit. I mean, you have to go with the 22-year-old.
Yes.
You in this scenario,
In this scenario.
he already said that they're equally faithful. So I'm going under the implication here that means that we're talking about preparing ourselves for a relationship, a marriage relationship,
Yeah.
a rest of our
Children,
life relationship.
the whole-
Yeah.
So both doesn't fit.
Both can fit.
I could fit in both,
Both
but
can
that's
fit.
not the point.
No, it could. I mean, there are younger women.
There's a difference. But being able to fit and it actually fitting are two different things.
What I'm just saying is men generally, when they reach a certain age and they're looking to settle down, if they had to choose, they're going to choose younger. It's just the way it is.
No. Men generally, if they had to choose, they choose both of them. I'm just being dead
We
ass,
already
like,
threw that off the table
threw that
for this
off the
particular example. Like, yes.
You can't shortchange
Okay.
it, damn it.
Of course.
Polygamy is a thing, damn
I'm not
it.
saying for fucking around. I'm saying marrying.
I'm talking about you can marry both of them.
To go on your point, I can't even object to it because I was 22 when I met my almost 30 boyfriend.
Exactly.
Still faithful. In school, but still not in school at the same time. He was like, I want you to be my
Yeah.
wife. I was like, sure.
Well, exactly.
You're here. I'm here. What's
Get
up?
used to it.
I mean, that's exactly right. He was ready to settle down. He picked someone that he liked, and you know what? Like you said, men hold the key to relationships. He had the power to make that choice. He chose to lock it down. Done. Now, women need to realize that life isn't fair, and you know, whatever choice you make has consequences. Consequences can be good. They can be bad, but if you spend your life attaining a dream and your youth is gone, you can't be upset because men, that's the way it works. Women look good. That looks attracts a man. The man gets to know you. You fall in love. God, I hate sounding like I'm 55 here, but that's the way, as much as we wish it didn't work that way, that's the way it works. And when you lose the looks, you're going to lose a certain pool of man that you want, and
That's that.
we're going to be unhappy.
Ooh, I got a quick question for all y'all, right? Who here besides TJ is eating ass?
Me.
Haven't eaten it, but I poked it a couple times.
Hell no, I ain't never eat ass.
Whoa, wait. Why did you say except TJ?
Did you?
Because you ate ass.
Wait, you don't eat butt?
TJ eats the booty like groceries.
No,
He puts
not
peanut
like
butter.
groceries.
Not like groceries, but like
Maybe a
midnight
late
snack?
night McDonald's order, but no, that's not
Yeah.
groceries.
Like a little chocolate press.
Nah, he puts Nutella between the cheeks before he eats it.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Nothing wrong with it.
So you gave somebody a knuckle butt.
She got to be
Yes.
pretty enough, though.
So you gave somebody a whole knuckle butt.
I did.
Ew.
Did they like it?
We talking
They
about
did.
No, so she put her finger in there. To
No,
the
so
knuckle.
dude, a rusty trombone.
What the fuck is a rusty trombone?
Wait.
You put your finger in and then you go like this.
I don't know anything. What the fuck?
Yeah, the dude's bent forward, you have the finger in the butt, and you jerk him
Yeah,
off.
it's a rusty trombone.
Yes.
You got she's
Yes.
using rusty trombones.
So you
I felt powerful because he was holding his leg. I'm like, oh, you was a bitch in this situation. Okay.
Ugh.
I mean, I've never been involved in a rusty trombone. But
Yes, let's put that on the record as well. That also not involved with.
You had
but-
to, you
but
had, so T is the only one here that's had
a rusty trombone. Yeah.
No.
I love
Hell no.
I love how you're taking the silence as yes.
Fuck no.
It's sitting quiet.
So you got a knuckle in your butt while someone was jerking you off.
No one is penetrating my
It's not the knuckle in. It's
not
up to
knuckle.
the
No,
Up to the knuckle.
Up to the knuckle.
Yeah, up to the
Yeah.
Hell no, not near it. It's like a shield.
What she got? What she got?
Hell
The little
no.
chubby sausage fingers. Right?
Look, just pushing the start button. Just push
Oh,
the start button. Get your revved up.
Prostate engaged. But
What
yeah,
you gonna do if she's sucking you off and then just all of a sudden you feel
No,
something wet
hell
and
no.
squishy?
Nope.
With your ass.
But she just ain't
Don't force
reaching
it
over.
strong with
It
this
slips, it
one.
slips up.
you gotta make that
No.
known. Look, I like doing butt stuff with the ladies back in the day.
But do you like having butt stuff done to
No.
you?
But you always had to make it known. You couldn't just go for the butthole and be like, surprise.
Yes, you can.
No,
But
you
that's
can't.
exciting.
Yes, you can. Like
No,
women love it when you do
no.
that.
Thank you.
That is a lower caliber person. What?
Yes.
I'm gonna
Cat.
bring us back
So
on
cat.
track
Yes.
by
Cat.
bringing it up to a
Question.
lower caliber person.
Question.
The person that would just go straight for that
Yes.
is not a high caliber individual.
So if you're
That is wrong.
If someone's hitting you doggy style, right, and all of a sudden you feel a thumb in your ass, are you gonna be upset?
No.
See, exactly.
Should
But
should they,
that,
in
the
all
thing
good
is,
consciousness, have said that
the
first?
thing is, anyone who's doing that is going to either know their girl likes it or they're going to start off slow. Anyone, regardless if the girl ends up liking it, that just shoves their whole
Yes.
thumb into someone's ass is a fucked up person.
That's the point. Before they go in, there's touching of the area. So,
There's a
Make sure you got
hole.
And
you
then-
got cut your nails. Make
yes, yes.
There's
Yeah.
a, there's
It's a process.
There-
yeah,
yes,
there's definitely a
there's
process.
a lead up.
You can never go
It's
straight for the butt.
it's like any other intimate act. You
Yes.
you feel your way through it and you respond to your partner's reaction to
Yes.
what you're
Like a
doing.
test run.
So
Yeah.
you ain't never nut in your girl's mouth before, without letting her
You
know.
always let them know.
That what the fuck are we talking about now?
They don't.
No, you don't do that either.
So just in the middle, just like you don't, you just let it loose. You don't say, "Hey, babe, I'm about to come." How the fuck do you even say that? I always just go like.
Sometimes you might grunt before they be like, oh wait a second, that's a change of pace.
Then you know what?
There's always a signal.
So without being told, you know if it's about to happen, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's
I know when to put like
Either
aim
way.
at your face, but not my face. That's your
Either
virgin
way.
eye
Fuck you
sometimes.
aiming. I mean, maybe my penis is too small. I can't
Either
aim at
way,
my face.
like-
There's ways to tell, like tapping the arm, or like
The rhythm is
I'm-
changing. It also
Yeah.
gets a little bit jerky. You're like, wait a second,
There's-
this ain't the
Yeah,
okay, we got really off topic.
I just have to throw out that you know.
I got distracted.
I don't understand why it's not acceptable to just be like I'm fitting a nut, like a simple
There you go.
verbal warning, like
communication is important.
I'm fitting a nut, fuck, and then just enjoy the rest of the ride. She does what she's gonna do with the rest of that information
Yeah.
from that point.
Second warning.
That point on, but you made your fair warning and it's over. All right, that was my take. Back on topic. But I had to get that out there. Like, it doesn't have to be some cryptic evidence of what's about to happen. You can just throw that shit out.
So TJ.
Oh, God.
When you nutted on an old girl's stomach, what'd you say?
You have sex with old women?
No. Well, the oldest was 37, so
37.
They like to rob you from the cradle. Okay.
So when you nutted all over her,
You're what,
what would
20,
you say?
29? 30?
yeah, I'm 30.
30.
She was 8 years old.
Well, no, how old were you?
Wait, what?
She was in elementary school.
She was in school. Yeah, she was like in second grade.
Oh,
She was winning
What are we
spelling
talking about
bees.
here? What?
She really popped out.
She had little barrettes in her head.
No, 37.
When
What?
you were born, she
Not when,
was 8.
Yeah.
not when
No,
you
but-
hit it. You didn't hit it. When
Oh,
you
that was, okay.
I was like, when you were, popping out,
Sorry, I'm a
she
little
was
slow right now.
she
It's,
was doing spelling
Walk
bees
by
and
Dave
shit.
and be like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you.
Yeah. She was like, come here, little baby. But anyway, what were we talking about before that? You really threw us off with
Yeah, TJ really threw
You
us off.
derailed your own show.
yeah.
TJ did it. It wasn't me.
I didn't do shit,
I mean,
man.
I do believe.
That's
Well, I
just
saw a study, for example, online, trying to bring it back here, because that's what I did when I was younger. I did online dating, and I was like,
Ooh, I actually want to go there too.
I was the king of online dating. I knew exactly how to get it lined up. I'd start talking to maybe 2 girls at a time. One of them would be, I knew how to get her out. Okay, great, we got on a date, so it feels. If it goes well, I was a nice gentleman. I always stopped the other conversations. If it didn't go well, boom, I have the next person lined up. Boom, boom, boom. I learned how to do the online dating. What I found interesting about it was I looked up some studies online because I would talk to women that would do online dating. And you guys use Tinder, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's shit show.
I remember.
It is a shit show,
Do you
but I'm
remember-
aware
do
of
you
it and have
remember
been
what
on
my
it.
wife said
Yes.
when I said when we have to run out of swipes?
What?
When you swipe on Tinder, remember you have to get a certain amount of swipes and then you run out? What did my wife say? You can run out of swipes? Because she would just go like this. Swipe. Oh, both people. I'm so pretty. Both people liked me. I'm done for the day. I don't have to keep looking. I can just look at the two I got. She didn't even ever run out of swipes. So the fact is but what I did notice was on OkCupid specifically, 80% of men were rated unattractive by women. 80%. Men was like this. It was kind of like men rated the most were in the middle, some hot, some not, but it was like a curve. Women was all up here on the other side. 80% they considered unattractive. Now,
Well, I actually have a theory on that.
go ahead.
See, these are online dating apps. These motherfuckers ain't out here to fucking date. These motherfuckers out here to get their dick wet. So therefore, men for the most part will fuck any damn thing. We know way too many people that'll fuck a fucking dirty homeless bitch with trash can in her fucking hair behind a dumpster.
Sure.
If she offered it.
Ew.
You tell me right here, right now, you remember who Justin or Willis is?
All right, I'll be back.
Look, I can agree to that because talking to Max when we were talking about, because we met on the dating app. So he was like, before you, I just kept swiping until somebody matched, and then I kept getting to make sure I get a 2 or 3 back. I was like, so how many swipes did you go through? At least 50 days just to make sure.
Sure.
Oh, look, it's a mic. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I feel special. And he would go through it, and he was like, well, how many do you have? I'm like, I got like 35 left, and 90 plus likes waiting for me to check out. He's like, so you don't go? No, I stop every 4 or 5.
There you go.
Give it a try out and see if it don't work. I'll come back again.
Yeah, and I mean, but the fact is, though, and I agree with that. I mean, women have the power in that regard, and as they should, frankly. But what has happened is, I do believe that rating 80% unattractive, to me, is a little bit too high of.
Too prideful.
Yes, well, too much self-esteem. We do have a self-esteem problem in this country, and because people have too much.
Who said it? I said it first. Remember that shit. Big Buff and Black said that shit.
Yes, people have way too much self-esteem nowadays, and I look at these things, and I mean, the fact is Prince Charming isn't gonna waste his time on the average woman, frankly.
Hell no. But I
And
say,
so-
then get Prince Charming ain't gonna be no damn goddamn dating app either.
Well, no, I mean, I met my wife on one, but that is, what are the odds, right?
But I say, no,
Lucky.
listen.
Right?
I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. It does happen. But for the most part, let's be honest.
For the most part, it's the meat market. Yeah,
For the most part, if you're on a fucking dating app,
you're on a dating app.
you're
for
fucking. Dating app is for fucking.
Sure.
It's not for fucking meeting up and everything else. Like it's meeting up obviously. but
Christian
it's not
mingle,
for-
Christian tingle.
No,
Hell
that's
yeah.
the worst of it. That's where I know people who use Christian Mingle. They're like, that's where all the Christian hoes are on.
Well,
He's
yeah.
like, he gets more sex on Christian Mingle than Tinder.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, oh.
By the way, I always had a really good idea for a Christian dating app. Just the title would be Crossing Paths. I always thought that would like really hit it and do well.
I'm about to say, and every single time you get matched up or whatnot, there's a picture of Jesus with his
Yeah,
hand holding
right.
the hand going.
Yeah, right. It's nice, but I mean, like, well, and then I mean, Plenty of Fish was always the one that was the most horror stories from. that I
Yeah,
always
that's
heard.
they a little creepy on that one.
Yeah.
They a little,
But I mean, the fact is getting back to it. We got to get back to it, right? Modern day men and women. I believe men are
Too much of a bitch.
children,
yes.
and
Yeah.
women are bad men.
What?
Yeah, women are terrible. So pretty much what he's saying is the same thing I was telling TJ beforehand. That women nowadays, they act like they have a dick. They're a little bit too masculine. To the point where it's just like, the reason why you're going to end up single and alone is because you're too fucking masculine. Don't no dude want to fucking come home, beat his chest like a gorilla to prove that he's the alpha.
I will have to see. I'll agree to that point because I got accused of it from my own mom. I was like, you need to tone it down. You got to let him be a man or else it's not going to go the way it goes. I'm like, But I was raised by a single woman. I was like, I've been instilled in my head that I have to be the top dog to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And he has to either be at my level or above, or I'm just gonna automatically put myself above him until he flips it around. And she was like, not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
You gotta adjust.
Yeah,
so
I'm about saying
working through that, how to adjust and tone myself down a little bit.
I'm about to say that unfortunately
And
that
can I
is
ask
a
you
game
a
that you have to
question?
play.
Are you happier?
I think once I get to know my new self more, I will be. Like, I recently got out of a relationship because he was too much of an adolescent.
Sure.
And even though he's older than me, and I was just like, we're on two separate, like, even though I was bringing myself down, but he never raised himself
Oh,
up.
that's
He never
unfortunate.
put
He certainly
himself in
should
that
have.
position. I was like, if you're always crying on my shoulder,
Yeah.
this, that, and third things are happening to you, but you have a tendency to blame other people.
Oh, you didn't
And
take
I'm like,
responsibility.
and he would get mad at me for that. He was like, well, you're taking their side. I'm like, no, I'm being an equal standing of look at what you're saying and look at what they're saying, because you don't got the best track record. I'm like, this is your dose of reality. It's like, your shit stinks too, even though you don't believe it.
I don't know. Shit smells like roses.
I mean,
I don't know about
but
that.
you
I mean, have you ever smelled
I guess
roses?
what I was saying is, can you see the value of what you were told?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the
think you can
arguments
make it
were
work with the
less,
right
and we
person.
were able to communicate better.
He just didn't
If
rise
we're-
up to where he should have been.
Now,
Okay.
with that being that, there is a fine line you have to walk, because if you actually become too submissive, a man will lose interest quick, fast, in a hurry. You get shitted on even worse than fucking if you were to, have your fucking big dick energy out. So there's a fine line that you have to walk with that. It's going to be one of those learning things. You just have to, get kicked out the nest
Men
and
should
find
be
out.
the head of the household. Women need to be the heart. Needs to keep pumping. I mean, like the fact is that give me a break. Like my wife has never been happier than when I take charge of things. But Jesus, goddamn, if I'm ever gonna be in full control, she ain't gonna allow that. She's gonna be like, I want to do this. It's like, all right, honey, we'll do that.
It's like you take
know?
the lead, but we'll be in the background steering you a little
Exactly.
bit. Like
Steering
give you suggestions of what direction you should go to, but you have full control. It's like,
Yes.
But we're just gonna be like, push this a little bit, or like sometimes I even did to them when he configured. I just like slip little things over time, and they're like, well, we should do. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. You came up with it all by yourself. Go ahead.
And I mean, I guess it feels like we're almost rediscovering fire, because I feel like this is shit that our great grandparents knew implicitly. And now we're like, oh my God, maybe it does work, when I think we all know for a fact that it does.
I got 2 mics in hand. I'm about to stand. Motherfuckers, I'm going to pull out and go blam.
He's still
Hey,
sitting.
That's fucked
Well,
up.
he's a little short. You can't really tell if he's sitting or
But nah, though. Fucking, I lost my damn train of thought. Look what you guys made me do. What did you make me do? Sorry, your
I
fault.
feel like I come across 1950s, by the way. I was raised in a household where my mom made most of the money. Like, my mom was the head of the household. And you know what's funny about that? Is I look back on it, and I actually see a little bit of the tension that might have caused a little bit. So I do my best, because I grew up in that situation where I could kind of skate by as a man. And now I realize I have something to lose. I don't want my wife to have to be in that situation. So I'm doing what I can to be more of a man.
So,
Because she deserves it.
so then, you say that, your wife is pretty not alpha, but pretty,
She is assertive.
yeah, pretty assertive, right? So with that being that, I actually have this theory that I've been working on, because every single assertive, powerful woman that I've met loves to be dominated.
yes.
Now, we're not going to get into that on the podcast. But,
But like, that could be a special night feature for later on.
I mean, I would make the argument that generally that's true for most women.
I mean, most women.
But sure, I mean, we can take the inverse. How about this? We can take the inverse. We all know the stereotype of the businessman that likes the rusty trombone, right?
Ew.
You know what I mean? We know the businessman who dominates everything at work and then likes to be, I don't know, maybe in a baby diaper or some shit. You know?
I don't know
Yeah.
this. I am not well versed in this one. I'm
Well,
well versed in
point
the
is-
other.
But I see what you're coming at, because usually you see like somebody who's like in a top dog position all day. They on 10
They
at
wanna
work,
give
but
up
at
control.
home they want to be on like a 2.
Yep, they wanna
But
give
like
up
you
control.
take it off because I've had it on my shoulders all day.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Let's flip the role.
How long until you decide you want to get yourself a rusty trombone, Clint?
Would you prefer a clean trombone?
Are you implying this hasn't happened already?
A thrusty trombone. I mean, you know, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just leaning forward so I could start interjecting.
Well, you got surround sound. You got surround sound.
But
Let's say, don't worry about it. At least you're not like, TJ here who.
He was rocking back and forth.
Yeah. TJ actually had.
He's trying out the baby fetish. You said about the diaper. He said if I just rock back and forth, I imagine myself in the diaper. We'll just get there mentally. So it's all good.
They say there's gonna be a dick in your mouth. It's called like a pacifier.
Wait, why you gonna put a dick in his mouth if he's acting like a baby? You fucking pedo. What the shit?
Wait. Time out. No.
I was like, he's living out his baby fantasy.
In context, he is 30. It's okay. It's
I'm gonna stick my-
okay. No judgment.
You didn't see that? There was a picture of some dude at one of those like odd rallies. I guess it was some sort of pride rally or whatever in like Europe, and he had the baby diaper get up on, and then he had a sticker that said slut.
It's the thing. Look, as
He's a slutty baby.
As a previous president of the LGBTQA community, well, I won a scholarship for that, by the way. That was awesome. I was like, I got a scholarship for being bi. Hey, what's up? There's a lot of communities within the community because sometimes you can still be. They add on letters all the time.
But don't you think that's a little?
It's some things I'm like, y'all really.
My
I was like, this
hold on.
exists.
My favorite
Let me
one
ask
was the
you a
one that
question.
they had
As
when they
someone
tried
who
to
had a
have Pete.
vested interest in this, I've noticed lately, and we're getting super off topic, but I really want to ask you.
We're still
this.
kind of on topic. I mean, we are talking about modern men and women.
When it comes to the LGBTQAI plus whatever, the whole situation.
It's a lot.
I've noticed lately
The alphabet.
there have been people who are like trying to cut it even smaller, such as I saw leather pride. Being into leather isn't a sexuality.
It's not a sexuality. And I actually
It's
went
a
over
fetish.
this
Yes.
about 6 years ago. I had a whole thing about all the flags and what they stood for. Even my teacher's like, are you sure you're supposed to be talking about this in high school? I'm like, there's things people need to know.
But
And
haven't you noticed with the LGBT?
there is a leather pride. That's a whole
but it
niche.
comparing leather
Leather.
to gays seems
It's like
dumb.
a small niche between that and like almost borderline BDSM culture.
Hey, don't
Sure.
bring me into this.
But have you noticed the flag, the pride flag? The rainbow is getting smaller every year.
It is.
Now, to me, that's ridiculous because isn't the whole point of LGBT to be inclusive?
It is.
So then why
it's
are you?
a very troubling. There's like in any group, there's always the troubling
Sure.
scenarios. Like there is a division in color within the LGBT because there's some. It always will be, but there's like some things. Like a white gay man can get by that a black gay man will get killed for. Like, or they'll go back and forth and be like, well, we should all do this, but then you don't include the other people. Like, well, we're here too. We're all trying to support everybody.
Is it because they don't hear their name specifically said? Like, I guess what I mean by that is the whole point of inclusive is that everyone's allowed. But if you don't hear leather specifically, you're like, well, I feel offended as a leather person because
I'm a leather man.
I feel like it's becoming that more and more often as people get more bold to say things, even on social media. Like people like, oh, I can really start to go something like it's like sometimes you gotta have a look out. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. I think people forget how to read between like we might not specifically say it, but you should know that with this topic you are included as well.
Sure.
I'm like, there's a whole bear community
Hey.
just on.
Ew.
There's bear clubs in DC. I've seen a couple. It's a
Trying to
whole
fuck a bear?
no, bears are large, hairy men.
Oh, I thought you meant like fucking the actual bear.
Look, I mean, there's so many niche communities within the community.
it sound like that.
Please try and fuck a bear. I will pay for the pay-per-view. I'll set it up.
Hey, boo.
It's a little bit.
Hey, boo boo. I'm about to get you, boo boo.
Because
Larger than the average bear.
I'll actually what that made me think of is
Dig your picnic
actually
basket.
bringing everything full circle and back on topic. It makes perfect sense. So you have someone who's in a minority community, who's already identifying as part of that minority community, and because their particular sect, say a gay man who likes leather, and he wants to be part of the leather part of that.
While being a baby.
This has nothing to do with the baby. This just has to do with making a subsect of an already existing group of a minority community. It goes right back around to what you were saying at the very beginning of everyone being told they're special.
I mean, because it.
Wow.
You're 100% right.
Brought that way the fuck back.
And it does circle all the way back around because that person, instead of saying, hey, I have this community that surrounds me, I finally have people that care about me, I know I'm ostracized in mainstream society, but I do have a group that will support me and care for me. They're not wanting to see it like that. In this day and age where everyone has to be special, they're making it a separate subtext, not to help the community, not because they feel like the leather group is not represented, but because they feel like they're not special enough. They're not.
They need that extra point.
They're not a subset enough, and they're losing. I feel like they're losing focus of what that's meant to be. It's meant to feel included, not to feel special that you're separate from everyone else. It's meant to make you feel like, hey, I am normal. That's what this group is about, making everyone feel included. Not you making up your own subset just so you can feel different again.
Well, when we
That-
take, let me,
I mean,
that
I don't have a full take on it.
You're
but
actually completely
No, that actually brings me to what I was actually going to bring up next here, right? And that is, why do any of that? Why feel included? Why feel as if, everything is normal when you can be a victim?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
What?
When you can be a victim?
When you can be a victim.
he's implying that when you break up into a smaller group, you do that because you're trying to gain some sort of status as a victim. That's
Yeah.
usually how it ends up working.
And that's pretty much what, and that still ties into what we got going on nowadays because, nowadays when I say men are more bitch than bitch, like, what I really want to dive into with that is the fact of the matter is that men nowadays love to play the victim card.
Oh, God.
And it aggravates the dog shit out of me.
well,
Fucking same thing goes for women. Love to play the victim card. Aggravates the dog shit out
I
of
don't
me.
know. I'm kind of more willing to let women do that because they're women.
I'm not gonna let that shit slide.
Sexist? Is it,
Yes.
See,
It is
I love
sexist
it.
of me.
it's like equality versus equity. Like, which one do you
Well,
want?
equality is obviously the one you want.
yeah, equity is terrible.
Equity is
Equity is
gonna
what we
get,
got.
Equity's
Equity's
going to get
terrible.
people killed is what equity
Yeah.
is. Gonna do.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were going to say something?
I lost my train of
No,
thought.
I was basically
I'll
saying
circle
that.
back on it.
Yeah, I was basically
you know
saying
what?
that
So if I
fucking
can, if I
everyone
can go off
loves
of
to
what you
be.
were
Yeah.
saying, what I find interesting about this
What,
is
everyone being a victim?
it's what he was saying about when you fraction it down. I'm not just gay, I'm leather gay, right? You fraction it down. The irony is all of these groups are started to make people feel as a whole. But what they're doing is they're fractionating it down to the point where the logical end to conclusion is that it's going to be one person. Because you could have two transgender black lesbian women who are
How
single
you-
mothers.
Wait, time out.
But
How are you tranny black lesbian woman and a mother?
I don't know. Okay, fine.
Look.
This
There's a man who had a baby.
See, there you go. Right, fine.
It's
Fine,
possible.
It's possible.
there's a
Anything-
possibility.
anything
Tranny
is
and
Don't
possible.
derail,
lesbian.
Yancey.
My-
Hold the derailing for after his thought.
My
'cause
point
I'm
is,
actually-
my point is that you could have two people that are like that, right?
yeah.
But one of them could have a mother that committed suicide, so they're also a victim of that. So now they're only thinking about themselves. They're not, you know what I mean? Like it's going to fractionate eventually to everyone's separated from themselves, because you and I might have this thing in common. We should be around that, but no. I have this part about me that I also, you see what I'm saying? It does nothing but accentuate the difference, because eventually two people, no matter how much they have in common, are going to be different. And if we keep fractionating like that, we're just going to end up farther apart.
And then you're like, well, why are we so far apart now? Like, we were so together first.
Exactly.
Like, you did this to
Exactly.
yourself.
Exactly.
But no, I didn't do this to me because if I did this to me, I wouldn't be a victim. I gotta
Emotional
blame everyone
manipulation.
else.
That's true. Well, no, I mean, yeah, he's right because
Well, like, I was like, him and right now, he's just like,
Once again, the whole wanting to be the victim goes back to wanting to feel special. You want attention
Yeah.
on you solely for your experiences, and at the face value, people start gravitating toward other people that have had those experiences so that they can feel acceptance and justification that they're not alone. But then after that goes on for long enough, it goes back to everyone having to be special to where they have, like he was saying, they have to start nitpicking it down from there to make it so that their experience was just this slight bit different. Exactly like what he said. I went through all these things. I gave birth, then got a sex change, and I'm this minority and that minority. I'm part of this group, but you know what sets me apart? My mom committed suicide.
Exactly.
I think that's the exact point you were trying to make.
Exactly.
So therefore, I'm part of the leather suicide squad
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly.
that has to be special, which everyone being special versus being an individual are two different things. You accepting that's you as an individual, but understanding the group you belong to as a whole is literally the building blocks of a society.
It's funny you say that.
But with everyone breaking it down to where they have to be their own individual, autonomous, like almost like a self-contained society.
Well, what's funny about that is they do it in the exact opposite name of that.
Yes.
They're breaking it into themselves, but they're actually saying I'm part of this community. What the fuck community is that?
Of you, community of one.
Community, yeah, exactly, right? A community of one?
It's like them breaking it down as their way of validating themselves. If this happened to me, yes, I'm with you, but it happened to me.
Do you guys remember when victimhood was honorable after you triumphed over it? Not victimhood itself,
What the hell are
But
you
like, this
talking
is what
about?
I survived.
but I survived it and came out better.
Oh,
And that's-
okay. So,
and that's
no.
when we were like,
So-
wow, that's incredible.
But
Not
you
just,
see-
I'm here and I'm still sad about it.
But you see, the thing is though, right? I wouldn't necessarily consider that to be victimhood, because that is
They were a victim at some point.
There was a victim. Yeah, they may have been a victim, but you know what? I cannot consider them to be a victim because the simple fact of the matter is like, I'm not gonna let this bullshit happen to me.
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and get the fuck up out of this shit. And that is.
Well, we
what-
didn't even call. Yeah, I got you.
And that's actually, you know, when I sit down, I hate to bring it to fucking, you know, race shit and whatever.
But before you go there real quick, I see where you're going, but what I was saying was that was the only time victimhood in any sense was valued, was after you conquered it and were no longer a victim.
I'm about to say, and that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
After you conquer it, no longer a victim, and that's why I'm saying that's the reason why I enjoy the older blacks and whatnot, if you will.
God,
Like
some of their stories
some of the
are the
stories
most
and whatnot.
amazing things I've
So,
ever heard.
in case none of you guys don't know this or whatnot, but Frederick Douglass has to be one of my favorite people in history.
Yep.
Period. Right. Him and Nat Turner. Nat Turner for obviously very different reasons.
Yeah.
Because, you know, one was like, fuck this, I'm not being a slave and killing all you motherfuckers. I mean, I died in the end, but it's neither here nor there. But Frederick Douglass, somebody that was born a fucking slave, got taught a little bit, but managed to trick other motherfuckers to teaching them how to read and write. Got to the point where, you know, he's this established fucking famous author, invited to the fucking president's house, ran for fucking presidency, by the way, because a lot of motherfuckers don't know that. First ever black man to ever run for presidency. Not no fucking President Barack Obama or any of that bullshit. Alright? So,
Thanks, Obama.
it's just one of those things where, you know, you sit here and you look at it, and it's just like, you were born a fucking slave and look at what you became.
Of course.
So it's literally one of those things where you see a story like that and you can be having a shitty day, but a story like that will inspire you to fucking do better.
Of course.
And because we don't have anyone out here that's going to inspire a motherfucker to do better, because a lot of people don't have really any really good role models. People's role models is out there showing their fucking pussy on fucking TV. Oh, I love Cardi B.
Oh, God.
I love Cardi B. I love that whoppy wop wop. I love making it style. I love the way she shake her ass on TV. Man, that's nothing to really look forward to, look up to. I'm about to say you can look up to other aspects, but if that's the only thing they're putting out, because that's the main thing they're putting out, they're not putting out the other shit they're doing.
Well,
I mean,
when it comes to Megan, she shake her ass, but she stay on her college degrees. Like, she has her whole scholarship going as well.
So the question is though, how is that? How do you know that? Because you look,
She put it up.
she put it out there.
She put it out. She
All right.
like shaking my ass with me.
It's-
This
I would make-
ass shaking is paying for these
All right.
degrees as well.
Yeah, 'cause,
she's a full time student as well. But
Yeah, but you know, there's, like I said, there's also.
but
other
they have to
things,
put
you have to put it
know
out
and
there.
know the artist to know that that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I would make the argument
out.
that most fans of hers, or at least casual fans, wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say casual.
I mean, I certainly didn't. I learned something today.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
mean,
glad
you
that
as
she's
well.
doing that.
Yeah, you and me both. That's why you see my eyes wide, right?
But I mean, the fact is that I mean, what is it? Frederick Douglass had said one of the most empowering things that I ever heard was he had said, you know, the 4th of July doesn't mean anything to black people
Oh,
because there's a promissory note that isn't being given to us, right? The freedom and all that you are espousing, we are not getting. And I love that because that is how you galvanize people together. You don't say everything's terrible and this place is awful. You say, no, you owe us this because this place is good and you're not fulfilling it.
Well, shit. That's what MLK was pretty much saying.
That's
It's like,
exactly
you owe
what
us
MLK
this. And it wasn't like, okay, listen, we need to change the Constitution because this and that third. It was more on lines of, y'all need to uphold that goddamn Constitution because we're including that
Exactly.
shit. Instead of, okay, we gotta do away with this, we gotta become separate, so on and so forth. It's like, nigga, we all the same.
Yep.
Include us, motherfucker.
We're not 1/5 a person no more.
Hell yeah. Not 3/5. 3/5.
3/5, 1/5, a fifth.
Yeah.
Like this is going to really devolve into a whole thing about the government fucking all of us at one point or another if we
Oh,
keep down
that's
that road.
gonna be
This is
yeah.
gonna be its
And it's
own-
gonna be into
own
go to
story.
welfare and all this other bullshit. We don't have time for
Yeah,
that.
we don't have
tonight.
time for that.
I mean, and even if you look at the role models, like I'll be honest with you, when I look at role models today, like I can't stand LeBron James when he talks. If you ask me, I like Michael Jordan. I loved Michael Jordan when I would listen to him speak.
No, Michael Jordan for me.
I rooted against him. I was a Jazz fan, but either way, him speaking, him out there, he was a fun person to look up to. You know what I mean? I find a lot of these celebrities today kind of get high off their own farts, and they just seem so astroturfed in the way they talk. Like they speak with a publicist almost, it sounds like. It's like, what do I say? Okay, got it. And then they go out and they give me the same line. And it doesn't help that half the time they do it in those awkward celebrity videos where one person says one word and then the next person says another word.
Yeah,
and
I know
the
what
next
you're
one-
Or
talking
they
about.
don't like the notes, they just post the
Yeah.
words. I'm like, I know
Yeah.
you didn't write that.
I hate that shit so much because I'm like, okay. Or when, God, I love it. Or when Katy Perry was doing commercials naked to try to get people to vote for Hillary Clinton.
No, I don't remember this at all. I really wish I'd seen some
I was
naked
like,
Katy
I
Perry.
gotta
I was just like, so what you're saying is, like, either this is super progressive or super sexist, and I can't decide which one this is.
Sex sells, right?
It does, but
She's
it also,
with her, okay?
to a point, but then it starts turning people off, and then you get the
Yeah,
opposite effect. You're
exactly.
doing too much.
Actually, I'm telling you right here, right now, if I were to see Katy Perry booty butt naked, I wouldn't change my voting habits, but I still would have watched. It's like, booty butt naked. Katy
So it didn't
Perry.
work.
It didn't work.
What's that got to do with me? I saw a nigga Katy Perry. Shit.
And with that, I feel like I lost what the point was that we
Yeah.
were making. With
Well, I mean, it's just, to me, it was that role models are
shit.
not what they used to be.
But then I'm like, you have to think about like, did that person sign up to be a role model? Or are you making a role model because you can't raise your own
You
kids?
kind of become public domain. And here's the thing, what I loved is you're right, you don't have to be a good role model. That's why I liked Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's slogan was, I am not a role model.
Charles Barkley is a good role model. I don't give a fuck what no
It's
one
funny,
says.
he is now.
He's one hell of
He
a
is
good
now.
role model.
He is now.
Even then, he was a good role model.
Yeah, but he would say, I'm not a role model. And the fact is that people still like that bad boy attitude, they can follow him. But you can easily stay out of the public eye. If you're a celebrity, you don't want to be a role model, don't make one of those condescending Instagram posts.
That's one thing that I love. She said it even in the interview. Beyonce, she's my favorite. She's my favorite. She posts, she does, but you don't see her life. She rarely posts her kids. You don't know where she's going unless you catch where she's going. I'm like, months of the year, I'm like, people hate Beyonce, but like, you don't see her doing nothing.
No, of course
She
not.
even says to herself, I ain't gonna let you see because my Virgo ass tell me you're not gonna see it. If I want to move in the shadows. She's about how Prince taught her to keep herself out of the spotlight. So when you see her, you see her. When you don't, bye. You have nothing to talk about. Like there's that she's not gonna let you have that conversation of her morals, her rights, what she does if it's wrong, because she doesn't allow you to be inside of that.
Well,
and
I
I
like
think
that.
some people need to take that lesson. Like, not your whole life don't gotta be on social
nah,
media
100%.
because you won't be put in this position because you put yourself in this position at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, when was the last time we had a celebrity that wasn't polarizing at all? Alex Trebek.
Oh my God, I miss Alex Trebek already.
He's
Right?
the man.
Like-
You don't. Besides Jeopardy, you really know into him. as
Yeah,
well.
like, I mean, but he was unmistakable, right? He was a celebrity that you'd be like, oh my God. But he just had a nice persona that I couldn't think of a person that wouldn't like him.
Was it Bill Murray?
Bill Murray's up there too.
Bill Murray.
Murray's up there too. You know what I mean? But like I can't stand shit like Leonardo DiCaprio telling me.
Hey, don't be hating on Daddy Leo.
I like him as an actor.
I don't know.
He
anybody's
drowned for
personal
no
life.
reason. He can fit on that guy.
I think it's the difference between keeping it real and keeping it political.
Sure.
Actually,
I think
Yeah.
the two get merged together quite a bit though.
No, they can't because a lot of political shit is muddy like shit.
True.
a lot of new celebrities try to point out a political view, maybe for themselves, maybe because they're trying to appease a certain part of their audience.
Oh, they fucked themselves up really bad.
But it's polarizing, and they're regardless of the reasoning, at the end of it, they're being political for the sake of being political, whether it's for their own, that they want to use their fame as a platform for their views, or they feel like they're going to gain more points with a certain group that they feel is a majority of their fan base, or maybe let people know who they want their fan base to be. Whereas before, we had a lot of celebrities that when they spoke their mind, it was their mind. It wasn't purely based on politics. I mean, that goes back to, the early days of rap, when you had early NWA.
Fuck the police.
You had early NWA, you had Tupac, you had Biggie, they were themselves. That was it. They weren't out there.
I like how you say all of them, but you don't include Ice Cube. You got a problem with the West Coast?
I said NWA.
But you didn't say him specifically.
Because it's not.
Read between the lines.
It's not the whole point. The point is they lived what they were saying. If they did say something political, you knew that was part of their life. That was part of what they were doing. And you can respect that. You agree with it or not. They were living a certain life that put them in a certain lifestyle that in reality they were bettering themselves. They were getting out of a situation but making people aware of it.
Mm-hmm. It seemed to be political by happenstance.
But
right?
Yeah,
like
it just happened.
Yeah.
I feel like that was more when like songs and raps were more like storytelling. Now it's more like
bitches.
Like,
Bitches and drugs.
Like
drugs
it's a
and
difference in writing and like
Like,
peace.
I'll take. I remember the first time hearing Straight Outta Compton, and like my musical taste up to a certain point in life was one very single thing. Not saying I changed my musical taste by adding to it, and I definitely have expanded my musical horizons to fit every genre under the sun and moon at this point in time. But I still remember being so closed into one thing, and the first time hearing NWA and being like, holy shit, what? And it pushed the whole message to the point that once I got looking into it, you felt when you were hearing that there was probably some crazy shit going on outside that studio when they were recording it, and it brought you on board a message by happenstance, like you said, as opposed to, I'll use LeBron James from your example, sitting in $150 million mansion talking about oppression of someone when
You couldn't be farther from that.
you're not further from that, and you're like, I don't feel like you go home and have to deal with like
The
drive-by
same
shootings
shit,
outside.
yeah.
Like you've already risen out of it. You need to be turning that around to help focus that community, focus people listening to you, focus your own funds if you care that much. Don't just speak at me. I mean, the
I'm
same,
about to say,
it doesn't
shit.
have to just be those kind of celebrities. We can talk about
Leonardo DiCaprio talking about climate change but flying everyone on jets.
yeah, exactly. That was the next thing. We can talk. It doesn't.
Because I was actually about to.
I was on one subject, but just to make sure that this is all inclusive, exactly. It can be any celebrity anywhere, Al Gore, Leonardo DiCaprio, whoever, that's telling me I need to sweat my ass off during the summer and keep my thermostat 80 degrees while they're having a Playmate pool party in their backyard at their mansion that they happen to fly to California from DC on their private jet that day.
Because the California one's the only one that has a grotto.
Because they wanted to see, the Hollywood sign in the background for their party. Purely that. Burning how many, in road from the airport, from their private plane, in a huge suburban blacked out SUV that's weighed down by an extra 700 pounds of bulletproof glass, making it get even worse gas mileage. But I have to sweat during the summer. Like, don't be that person that's talking at me when you're not living the life. The people that are making a message when they're living that life are like, damn, people shouldn't have to live like that. That shit's crazy. I didn't know that existed.
I'm about to say now, as long as they actually fucking make good on their message when they actually get to where they need to get to as well. Because
I mean, there's definitely people that can start low, get up high, and will turn around and help the community.
Yeah, because I was gonna say take
And don't
NWA
just
for
use a
example, because
pedestal.
fucking Cube does it, Dre does it. You know,
If I'm not mistaken, Akon, like,
Akon,
spent
yeah.
a lot of money on a few, like, African towns.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
So-
they really him in his own town.
Yeah, he-
About how much he's
a lot. He put a lot
invested into them. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna make Akon City now. That
Fucking
he got
Killer Mike.
$25 million to start that.
Yeah, fucking
Exactly.
Killer Mike's out there doing it. Big Boy out there does it.
Mm-hmm.
Nas, he does it slightly different. He doesn't do it the way that they're doing it, where he's putting the money back in there, but he's doing it through education and through teaching. And it's
all
just
of it
like,
counts, man.
It's
All
just
of it
it's
counts.
just one of those things, like, dude, like, you know, you take a look and you see all this stuff and whatnot, right? It's like, dude, where are all these people at now? Like, we don't have anybody that's coming up like that. Kind of sucks ass. Which then goes back to, you know, the caliber of men and women being absolute
Just like
bitches.
I don't know. I heard about this from a friend that because I'm not on social media like that for these things, but I definitely heard that there was some rapper, a modern rapper, throwing money in the ocean and burning it and shit, like for like clout on Instagram, but also had a message of like bettering communities, and he got flamed. I'll ask the person.
It's funny, I'm looking it up right now. Rapper Kodak Black.
That's who it was.
Oh, that's TJ's favorite rapper.
Bruh, again.
He flushed $100
With the
bills
line.
down the toilet
Hell
into
no.
the ocean.
Yeah, that's TJ's favorite rapper all the way through. He looked
And-
like Lisa Simpson.
And as far as I understood, he did get flamed a bit from people turning around and saying, you know, you talk a good game, but there's people starving and you're flushing money down the toilet for attention on Instagram. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Who's that one rapper that got in trouble for saying if you ain't sucking dick in the parking lot?
No, that was the baby.
That nigga right there,
No,
but
the baby
as hell,
said.
yo.
What the baby? I think you're misquoting him. What the baby said is, "My gay fans have class. They aren't the ones out there sucking dick in the parking lot."
Yeah, so what the hell they get mad at this nigga for?
Because that's offensive to dudes that suck dicks in
Wait.
parking lots.
But nigga, they ain't his fan. They obviously ain't his fans.
But,
What
I
they get
mean-
mad about?
I'm not gonna say if you make that money and you want to spend it on yourself and you want to buy a Lamborghini that's going to depreciate in value, maybe appreciate. I don't know how that shit works. I'm not gonna go for a Lamborghini anytime soon. But if you want to treat yourself like that because you were able to be in a position to make that kind of money, do it, man. You live once. You made that money. Enjoy yourself. What I'm saying is don't go out there talking shit about wanting to bring people up and then do something completely worthless with
Yeah.
your money. It's not so much that you're not even not. It's not that you're treating yourself. You're just wasting it for attention.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think attention, positive or negative, has become just a commodity, right? People, you know, what do they say? No bad press, no press. What do they say?
No press is bad press.
Exactly. That one.
No, there's no such thing as bad press.
No such
Yeah.
thing as bad press, right? Yeah. No such thing as bad press, right? So, I mean, it gets you in the news. And I mean, the problem though is that I think that we're losing sight, I think, of what allowed us to be here. What do they say? They say, hard times make good men make good times make weak men make hard times. And it's that cycle that goes over and over again.
Yeah.
Right now, we are in good times with weak men. Hope that means that we're going to have some hard times ahead because they make hard times, but then hopefully we'll get another crop of good ones to fix it.
Hopefully. But I just realized we filmed a whole fucking movie, so it's about time for us to wrap this up. Anybody want to plug a little pluggy plug or something like that in there? No?
Little rusty trombone.
TJ wants to talk about that bathwater one more time.
I know he does. I'm sorry, it was that Kodak Black bathwater, not Belle Delphine. I'm sorry about that.
No. Stop.
Listen, it's okay. Listen, you like Lucy Vert.
No.
He got a little diamond in the forehead. He got me a little Lucy Vert.
Hell no. Oh my gosh, bro.
So anyway, thank y'all for listening for this long-winded one. It's all TJ's fault. We got derailed, not mine, by the least. I would also like to thank my man's Clint for showing up.
I hope to be a regular now.
Oh
I'm
hell
having
yeah! I
a lot
hope
of fun
so.
with this.
I hope so too. This shit is
I'm
fun
just
as
gonna
hell.
randomly show up, be like, you got a microphone?
I'd like to thank Kat for showing up out of the blue too.
That was a lot of fun. I'll definitely say that has some value added.
And then, of course, Jimmy, first time being here. I'm quite happy about that.
Hopefully not the last.
I'm about to say, hopefully that. Actually, not Jimmy. There's an episode about the prostitution conversation we had up there.
It's
So,
true.
you know, that's up there. He's up there with that.
Oh, did you actually post that?
I posted that
Okay,
way long
cool.
ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, we got that going.
I am against prostitution in theory, but understand it in practice.
Hey, I need this to be a thing and make our women better.
Jesus Christ.
What?
That's not how to do it.
No, instead of make our women better because then women won't only have sex to offer to men, which
Oh,
is a whole nother story that I can
That's
bring
a
up with.
whole-
That's
yeah.
a whole nother
That's a can of
road
worms right
down
there.
the
Yeah.
down
Do
the
it,
whole
but
caliber.
we gotta
of-
do the other one about the mass movement one that I have.
Oh yeah, no. That probably be in if we don't do that one next, I'll do the COVID next.
Okay.
It's one of those two. It's gonna be next.
Just let me know when, because I really want to do that one. I have like a whole page of notes.
TJ,
Are you alive?
this nigga was silent the entire
Dude, yeah,
time.
you didn't say a
You
goddamn
didn't say
word.
you didn't
That-
add any fucking value. You fucking asshole.
The microphone only got you breathing.
I know. This nigga. Only thing is, microphone called you
I
zero.
like how he
I
started
like
with
bath water.
with his snappy line in the beginning, and then just clammed down.
I like bath water. I like Lil Uzi Vert. Kodak Black, my
How much does
favorite
that
rapper.
bathwater cost?
Cost about like $35, don't
Oh
it?
my god.
Not too much. No.
I don't know. I don't do
You
bath
the one
water.
that bought it.
I didn't buy anything.
you
Didn't
actually
someone?
buy it?
Didn't someone
Check my
test
bank
that shit?
account.
It had like
Please.
committee and shit.
No,
in there.
like that was
buy
hyperbole. That
anything.
was bullshit. Like they tested it and found even like even
How'd you
more.
know it was $30 a jar?
I said 35.
Oh, yeah, no, he did. He did.
That's what I'm
It's really $30
It is $30 a jar.
shit.
The hysterical thing is there was a bunch of like shit out there saying, "Oh, we found herpes in
fuckers
that
are drinking it.
bath water." Yeah, they're definitely drinking it, and that's why a bunch of people were like, "I got herpes from the Beldaphine bath water," and like
They weren't her piece, they were his piece.
then when it was actually tested, I believe this is correct. I might need to be fact checked here, but
Allegedly.
Allegedly, ostrich
the jars that were tested, that were bought anonymously and lab tested, contained no human DNA at all. So
She was
It was
buying-
selling water.
so she's literally
Like a little drop of lavender.
like filling jars with water out the sink
Look,
and
be fair,
selling
it
it.
could be her bathtub.
It could be in
Just without her in it.
You know what?
She just was
probably
never in
that's
it. But that begs the question
I mean, technically it is
of
bath water.
all these people who blame that bathwater on why they had herpes. Because if there was no human DNA in it, y'all were just blaming that bathwater for some bullshit.
That shit funny as hell.
Only like your girlfriend was like, I got herpes. But I got it from ordering a woman's bathwater online.
Which I don't
See how
doubt.
that
I honestly I don't doubt someone doing that.
Anyway, we'll be back next week. This shit was fun as hell.
Hey.